Right, so we dedicate this presentation to our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadam Vandeham Shri Guru Shriyuta Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhandutam Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Shratau Pangur Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarvasva Padam Dojau Radha Madanamo Divyadvrindaranyo Kalpadhrumadaha Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prashtali Sevamano Smarami Sriman Rasa Sarambi Vamsivata Karshan Venu Sanergopi Gopinata Sriyastuna Taptakanchana Dourange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भागवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. निगमाकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखादमृतधाव्यसंयुतं पिबतवागतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका विभावकः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रे वै मे अनन्तविषया मतिर्मधुपतिया सकृत् रतिं वहदाथा गङ्गे बहुगं मुदन्मतिः. O Madhupate, as the Ganga forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaprasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayitim Girim Yatkrupa Tamaham Mande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Ramanandamaadavam Sri Chaitanyamishwaram Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna, everyone. So we are in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Pandavas retire timely. So we have covered the first part of this chapter. So we only managed to cover 6 verses, I think, right? So, but we will continue today the rest of the topic. So before we do that, let us recap a little. What is the connection between the previous chapter and this current chapter? So the previous chapter was entitled The Disappearance of Lord Krishna. So here it introduced this topic because this topic will be in 2 chapters, chapter 14 and chapter 15, the disappearance of Lord Krishna. So it began with Yudhishthira Maharaj observing ill omens, and we saw the reversal of time, the changes of the seasons, many other ill omens happening, jackals vomiting fire, meteors in the sky, so many other things. And then, so those were celestial omens. There were also earthly omens, and there were also omens which were noted within the population, how people were becoming more and more selfish and greedy. So this was all showing the onset of Kali. So Maharaj Yudhishthira was observing all these ill omens, and he developed a lot of trepidation in his heart. He became worried. He became disturbed. Oh, why he became disturbed is because he knew Narada Muni told him previously that Lord Krishna will soon leave the world, will soon wrap up his wonderful pastimes. So it was not so much of as the trepidation. Of course, he was the king. He was worried about the population, about the world. But his main cause of trepidation was, is Krishna going to leave us now? Are we going to be separated from him? That was his main trepidation. So he was worried about it. And then he was thinking, why is Arjuna not back? Because Arjuna left for Dwaraka by the order of Yudhishthira Maharaj, so that the Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to know more about the activities of Krishna. What is Krishna doing now? That Mahabharata war is over, peace is established. What is his next plan of action? So he sent Arjuna away to Dwaraka to report. And it's been more than 6 months, 7 months actually, and Arjuna wasn't back yet. So, coupled with Arjuna's absence and with all the ill omens happening everywhere, Maharaj Yudhishthira started to have really became worried. And then at this juncture, when Maharaj Yudhishthira was thinking aloud, he was thinking to himself, could this be the reason? Could that be the reason? Why is this happening? He didn't want to go straight to the point of because it was Krishna's disappearance. But finally, while he was thinking like this, Arjuna returned. And when Yudhishthira Maharaj saw Arjuna in his state, when he returned, it wasn't like how he left. He was completely downcast, completely defeated. All his what do you call tejas, all his tejas or effulgence was no longer there. He was crying. Tears were coming in his eyes. So when he saw him in such a dejected situation, never before Arjuna was in such a dejected situation. Even during the time of the Mahabharata war, at the time Arjuna was put into illusion before the Gita was spoken. We heard in chapter 1 Bhagavad Gita how Arjuna, he would have the shivering of the hands, the limbs were trembling, all the other various symptoms we hear. So even at that time, it wasn't as bad as how Yudhishthira Maharaj is observing him now. Many other things happened. Even when Arjuna's son Abhimanyu was unfairly cornered and killed in battle, even then, when Arjuna heard the news, he wasn't as dejected as how Yudhishthira Maharaj is seeing him dejected now. So immediately Yudhishthira Maharaj questions Arjuna. So we heard all this in the previous chapter. He will ask, how are the Vrishnis? He will first ask with positive things. He will say, okay, you have gone. Please tell us what are the Vrishnis doing? What are the activities of Krishna's brother Balaram? how is Krishna's friends, how are the people, how are the queens. So like that, we heard many, many things about Krishna. And finally, he asked Arjuna, why are you so dejected? Is it because you have lost your health? Is it because somebody has dishonored you? Is it because you couldn't keep your promise? Is it because, you were defeated by enemy or you were insulted? So like that, he asked different things. But finally, he said, or is it because your dear friend Krishna is no longer on earth? So that was how chapter 14 ended. Then we heard in chapter 15, the first part, right? How Arjuna described. So here we have this conversation is being narrated by Goswami uh, to Sutta Goswami to the teachers of Time Surrender, right? Headed by Sanaka, sorry, headed by Goswami was narrating this to the sages of Time Surrender. So at that time, he was saying how Arjuna looked like. So here it says Krishna Vishlesha Ashita. The description was Arjuna was feeling separations of Krishna. Uh, Krishna Vislesha. Vislesha means separation. Arshita means very, very greatly bereaved, very heavy in the heart. So that description was given in the first part, right? And it went on to show how Arjuna his heart was lotus like heart, right? It was completely dried up. Here are the symptoms. So shokena, shoka means is the opposite of show. In Tamil also we have this word shokam, right? So sogam means great misery or great sadness. So shokena, why is Arjuna in shoka? Is because he is feeling the separation of Krishna and he's remembering that separation constantly. So Krishna Anusmaran, he's remembering how Krishna is no longer with me. He was all the while with me, and I sort of took him for granted. And now that he's no longer here, he poignantly feels the separation. So in that way, the description was given how Susyat Vadana Prit Saroja. So drying of the mouth, drying of the eyes. It's like the heart becomes dried up. Just like the heart is called the lotus, right? So Hrit Saroja. Hrit means the heart. Saroja means lotus. So the heart became dried up, just like a dried lotus. That was how Arjuna was feeling. And Tata Prabha, he's lost his luster. His effulgence, his luster was lost completely. And Amrita Netrayo, tears were falling from his eyes, and he was rubbing them, and he was smearing his eyes with all the tears. And Baspa Gadgaya Gira, so he became speechless. Gadgadaya Gira, he could not speak. He became all choked up, right? So this was a very nice verse in we hear the Sikshashtakam. In the Sikshashtakam, verses 6 talks about the symptoms of bhava. So although Arjuna is described here as going through shoka or misery or bereavement, actually we talked about this in the previous session. This, for the pure devotees of the Lord, what looks like misery actually is not really misery. It is actually the greatest ecstasy. So we spoke about how remembrance of Krishna, there are two types. One is Sambhoga and the other is Vipralamba. Sambhoga means in union. So Krishna is here. So and we are here. So the relationship of Krishna and being here, so directly reciprocating with Krishna directly, that is relationship of union. So that kind of happiness, is called Sambhoga. But there is another type of ecstasy which is called Vipralamba. Vipralamba means in separation. Just like when somebody is in very much in love with another person, sometimes you're together, right? When you're together, we are together, but after some time, we take it for sort of for granted. Every day we see the person, but suddenly when we hear, okay, I'm never going to see you again for the next 5 years. So how the person will feel? So and that kind of feeling is the root of that feeling is love. So, but the feeling of love becomes intensified because of the shadow of separation. So that is one kind of bliss also. Because otherwise, if there is no love, one will not have that kind of separation feeling, right? So, and Arjuna is feeling that. So, Hidaya Gira. So, in Sikshashtakam, verse 6, there is a verse, it goes like, Nayanam Gadgada Ashru Dharaya. Sorry, Nayanam Gadat Ashru Dharaya, Vadanam Gadgada Ruddhaya Gira. Vadanam Gadgada Ruddhaya Gira. Sakir Nishchitam Vapukada, Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyati. So here we have the same word, Ruddhaya Gira. Vadanam Gadgada Ruddhaya Gira. Here it says Vaspa Gadgadaya Gira. So both also choking of the words, cannot speak because too much, too much feeling in the heart, too much emotion, cannot speak, it's choking. So this is a symptom of ecstasy, bhava, right? The translation of the Sikshashtakam is, oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with the tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, right? When will my body, the hairs of my body stand on end? So this is the translation. So if you notice, this translation of this verse, this ecstasy of bhava, is actually in separation of Krishna, in the same mood as how Arjuna is feeling right now, in separation of Krishna, right? So the Acharyas, we are in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us this greatest of ecstasy, this Vipralamba Rasa. So that is the great, this ecstasy of separation is described as even more greater than the ecstasy of union. Yes, union after so long. Why? Because it increases the remembrance, increases the attachment, and it increases the ecstasy of union. Because of the separation, when finally a person meets together, the union, the bliss of that union becomes even greater. Right? So it's just like fasting, we just had Krishna Janmashtami. So we were separated from prasadam. We were separated from prasadam for one full day. And then we broke with Ekadasi prasadam. And then the next day again separated from prasadam because fasting for Prabhupada's Rasa Puja. And then finally when the feast is served, oh, the union of putting the food in the mouth, the union of that feast, the ecstasy that we feel is so great because of the separation. So same thing, in fact, better than that is that this is what is being described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's mentioned that this feeling is very, very special, right? So Arjuna is experiencing this, and we are hearing the description of this. So we can meditate on how we can also feel the separation from Krishna and how we can increase the ecstasy in our heart. So then continues the verse that we talked about, verses 5 to 6, how Arjuna is feeling even a moment separation from Krishna is like an age, right? So we also have a similar verse in Sikshashtakam. The next verse in Sikshashtakam, verse 7, right? Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrsayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. How Govinda is separated from us. When Arjuna had the separation from Govinda, he was feeling Govinda virahena me means Arjuna, Govinda is separated from me. What is the feeling? The feeling is even a moment is like yuga. Yuga nimeshana. Nimesha. One nimesha becomes like a yuga. Oh, that kind of pain in the heart, that kind of ecstasy. Right? And then we heard about how feeling this separation, what does Arjuna do? Having this separated feeling from Krishna, what does he do? immediately he starts remembering Krishna. Krishna Anubhava. So Arjuna begins to remember Krishna. Smaranam. It comes naturally for a pure devotee like Krishna. So therefore, he is actually, though he is in separation, because he is remembering Krishna, the Acharyas explain, just by remembering Krishna, immediately that relationship is there again. So that is again how we are expected to chant the holy names of the Lord, right? So we try to remember Krishna, Krishna's pastimes and everything. So, and when we chant, we have the same feeling of separation. In one of the pastimes, we talked about one of those remembrance of Arjuna in the previous session. We remembered Arjuna started the remembrance by remembering how uh, Draupadi was born, the Swayamvara ceremony of Draupadi. So we talked about that, how, he remembered that I was able to enter into the Swayamvara competition and I was able to win this competition. There was a fish, a statue of a fish hung on the top of the roof, which was rotating. It was rotating, and he was supposed to shoot that fish at the eye, in the eye of the fish from quite a distance, and it's rotating. The target is rotating, but he cannot look at the target. He has to look at the reflection of the target on the water, and then he has to shoot. So, very, very, very expert, precise mathematical calculation. In mathematics, there's something called trigonometry, where it's a calculation of angles. So Arjuna was expert archer. So all this was part of this calculation. He could do it. Looking at the reflection, he could shoot the target right in the eye. So he's remembering, I could do this simply because of Krishna's grace. Krishna was also there, and Krishna was having this desire that I should get Draupadi as the wife. So by his grace, I could win this. So he was remembering that. So today we will continue more with Arjuna's remembrance of Krishna. How Arjuna thinks, and in his separation, in his extreme Goka, remembers different pastimes of Krishna in his mind, and he is telling that to Yudhishthira. Yat sanidam aham, because he was near me, because Krishna was near me, it was possible for me to conquer with great dexterity the powerful king of heaven, Indra Deva, along with his demigod associates. So how did this happen, right? Uh, the verse continues, and thus enable the fire god to devastate the Khandava forest. So this is a pastime, is described in the Mahabharata. This pastime was when Arjuna, when the Pandavas were staying in Indraprastha, and at that time Krishna was also staying with the Pandavas, and Krishna came to visit from Dwaraka. So they used to go out together, Arjuna and Krishna. They will go out and they will go for picnics or just go to the forest or hang about. So there was a forest nearby called Khandava Forest near Indraprastha. It's a very, very terrible forest, very full of all kinds of terrible creatures who were living there. But anyway, they just went there. They went to do some hunting and things like that, to kill some of the demons and all. Along the way, suddenly, when they were sitting there while having a sort of like a picnic, they saw a effulgent personality come out from the forest. This person, he was a Brahmana. He looked like a Brahmana. He had golden hair and golden beard, and he was very effulgent, like as if like fire. And then he came and he begged Arjuna and Krishna for food. Oh, you are such great personalities. Please give me some food. And then he introduced himself, I'm a Brahmana. I would like some food. And then Arjuna was saying, yeah, sure. What kind of food do you want? We can give you our food. So no, then this Brahmana said, no, please know that this kind of food will not satisfy me. I am none other than Agni Dev, the god of fire, and I need to get special food. This special food is I have been blessed by Brahma for me to devour this forest. So I'm going to manifest into a forest fire, and I'm going to devour, eat this forest. Okay, why? Because in previously there was a king who organized a very wonderful yagya. In fact, it was such a yagya. The scriptures, it is described in the Matsya Purana. It's described that this, I forgot the name of the king, but the yagya was such a big yagya that they poured gallons and gallons and gallons of ghee into the yagya. So Agni was saying, this Brahmana, Agni Dev in the form of the Brahmana, he was saying, so I had to eat so much of ghee that I developed some stomach problem. So Agni Dev developed some stomach problem because he took too much ghee. So when he went to Brahma, Brahma told him, okay, the cure for this is you have to eat some special herbs which grows only in the Kandava forest. So Agni, he came and he wanted to devour the Kandava forest. And he said, what about the living creatures in the Kandava forest? And then Brahma said, oh, don't worry. These living creatures in the Kandava forest, they are all very sinful creatures. They have taken birth there. So they all should be killed. They are all very dangerous and very sinful. So therefore you have free right to burn everything and kill them. So he started to develop the forest fire, a very fearful forest fire to develop. But suddenly Indra, you can see here, Agni, Indra suddenly came, and he doused the forest fire with lots of, Indra is the god of rain, right? So when we have forest fire, how do we solve the problem of the forest fire? Can we call Bumba? Bumba cannot do anything, right? When there's a forest fire, the only hope is we hope it will rain. So, but Agni's forest fire was doused by Indra's rain. He called all the terrible clouds, and then they doused all the rain. So, the doused the forest fire. So, Agni couldn't consume the forest. And then he tried again another time, and still again this happened. So, Agni said, Indra is stopping me from devouring this forest, because his friend Takshaka is in this forest. Now, Takshaka is a snake, is the king of the snakes. So it's a long story. There's a favor that Takshaka did for Indra at one point of time. So Indra owes Takshaka a favor, and he told him, "I will protect you in this kingdom, in this forest." So because of that, but Takshaka is the same Takshaka that beat Parikshit Maharaj. Later we will hear in the later chapters. Anyway, so because Indra is protecting the forest, Agni couldn't eat. So therefore he came and asked boon from uh, Krishna and Arjuna. He actually asked Arjuna. He asked Arjuna, please, you are great personalities. Please help me. When Indra comes, please stop him. Use your military strength and everything to stop Indra. So, and then Arjuna was thinking, oh, you want me to fight a Devata? But I don't have, I have the special weapons which I can invoke by mantra, but I need a special bow to launch my weapons, to launch the mystic weapons on a special bow. Nothing from earth will help me to do that. And if I'm going to fight Indra, Indra is in the sky. He can go everywhere. I cannot. I'm only walking on the earth. So I will need a special chariot also, right? And I would also need a special quiver for me to keep all my celestial weapons. So the quiver needs to be inexhaustible. That means the arrows will never finish. I can keep on drawing arrows from my quiver and it will never end. So I need a quiver like that. So where to find all this? So then Agni said, don't worry, I can provide you all this. So immediately Agni meditated on Varuna Dev. He invoked Varuna. He knows that Varuna keeps a lot of, he's like the storekeeper. He keeps a lot of special things in his kingdom, in the ocean. So he asked Varuna Dev to come and give Arjuna a special bow. So Varuna presented Arjuna the Gandiva bow. So this is how Arjuna got the Gandiva bow. And he also got a special chariot from the some sources say sun god, some sources say moon god. Anyway, this chariot is a special chariot, and it's a celestial chariot driven by heavenly horses, and these horses can go everywhere. And this chariot actually is in Mahabharata. It is said this chariot belonged to the moon god Soma, and Varuna was keeping this chariot. And Agni told Varuna, please give this chariot to Arjuna. So that's how Arjuna got this special chariot, which how Bhagavad Gita describes. Bhagavad Gita describes this chariot conquers all 10 directions, right? So he got this chariot, and he also got his inexhaustible quiver to keep all the weapons. So later on, it will prove useful in the Mahabharata war. So anyway, he got all the weapons now. He entered, he walked onto the chariot, and in the chariot, he found more special weapons. He found the armor, heavenly armor. So he wore all these things, and Krishna agreed to be the charioteer. So that was the first time Krishna became the charioteer. So that time they were friends, Arjuna and Krishna, and it was very jokingly done. And Krishna was telling Arjuna, let me drive. Okay, you go and fight. Let me see how good you are. So like that. So then Arjuna immediately started going around the forest, trying to see what will happen. So Agni immediately expanded himself, and he was about to consume the forest when again Indra came. So when Indra came, he again invoked all the clouds and he invoked everything. But Arjuna was able to shoot so many arrows that he created like an umbrella uh, in the entire expanse of the Kandava forest. So, and it's a special type of arrow umbrella. So Indra could not douse the fire. And then Indra became angry. And then he started attacking Arjuna. But Arjuna was able to defeat everything that Indra threw at him. So then Indra, then he realized, oh, this is Arjuna, my own son, Arjuna. But still, he thought, let me test Arjuna further. Let me call all my heavenly devatas. So he called the entire host of heaven. So, in all the, like Surya, even Varuna came and joined Indra, and many other devatas, all of them came together. It's described in Mahabharata that even Kartikeya came. Kartikeya mounted on his peacock. He came, and together they all attacked Arjuna and Krishna, but they were completely undefeatable. Arjuna and Krishna, they were like moving like lightning in every corner, in every direction, and they were able to counter every kind of attack. And finally, there was a voice in heaven. The voice was the voice of Brahma. He was saying, you cannot defeat Krishna and Arjuna because previously they were Nara and Narayana, and they were the ones who helped you previously to defeat so many other demons. So, and therefore, uh, please stop this. It is destined that the Kandava forest be destroyed. So allow this to happen. So then immediately Indra stopped, and he came and he blessed Arjuna, and he told, one day you are going to come to heaven, you're going to visit me. That time I will give you all my heavenly weapons. So then he left. Then Agni was very, very pleased. He managed to eat all the entire Kandava forest, and he consumed all the herbs. And then his malady was cured. And then he came to Arjuna and Krishna, and then said, "Please ask for blessings. What would you like? What can I give you, O Arjuna?" So Krishna was just watching all this, right? So but Arjuna said, I don't want anything from you. You are a Brahmana. You have asked me for a service. I'm a Kshatriya. It is my duty to serve you as a Brahmana. I do not expect anything in return from you. Then Agni said, no, no, but you have asked, I am Deva. So you let me give you what you want. Then he said, no, I don't need anything. Really, he was very, very fixed. But Krishna was saying, never mind, Arjuna. Why don't you take all these weapons that Agni has given you, your Gandiva, this chariot and everything? So then Arjuna agreed. And then this is how Arjuna received all these weapons from Agni. At that time also, there was a demon. Srimad Bhagavatam continues, right? So, because Krishna was near me, so Arjuna was remembering this now. As he came back to meet Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was remembering this particular incident. How was it I, simple person, was able to conquer the entire host of demigods? I was able to do this simply because Krishna was near me. It was possible for me. So now he's remembering how Krishna was the enabler. Like how Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, I am the strength of the strong, right? I am the power, I am the prowess of the powerful. Everything is coming from me. So Arjuna is meditating on this. And thus enabled the fire god to devastate Kandava forest. And only by his grace was the demon named Maya saved from the blazing Kandava forest. So in the Kandava forest, many simple creatures were there. All of them were killed. But there was one demon who was hiding underground. So he's a very smart demon, Maya Danava. He's called Maya. He was hiding underground. And because he was hiding underground, he could escape the forest fire. And once it was done, he got up and ran. But Krishna wanted to kill this Maya demon. So he immediately sent the Sudarshan Chakra. And Indra was also there. He also wanted to kill this Maya demon because Indra and demons were always fighting. So he also released his Vajra. But Maya Danava, chased by this Sudarshan and Vajra, he came running and he fell at the feet of Arjuna. And he begged for protection. Arjuna, oh, please protect me. So we can remember a similar pastime, right? A similar pastime, famous pastime of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. How Durvasa Muni was being chased by the Sudarshan Chakra. And wherever he goes, he couldn't find relief. Even when he went to Vishnu, Vishnu told him, you go and fall at the feet of my devotee. Only he can save you. So in the same way, Maya Danava also fell at the feet of the devotee of Lord Krishna, Arjuna. And immediately he was saved. Arjuna took, because, Kshatriyas, when somebody asks for mercy, the Kshatriya code is they must give the mercy and they must protect that person. So then Arjuna, but he didn't just say, okay, I protect you. He instead looked at Krishna and asked Krishna's permission. Krishna, this person has asked my protection. Can you please spare him for my sake? So then Krishna immediately, he was very pleased. So he was happy. Danava, he organized this. He wanted this to happen because Maya Danava was not an ordinary demon. He was a very special demon. He could do special things which he wanted the Pandavas to get some things from Danava demon. So he organized this. But anyway, so he pleased with Arjuna's mercy, Maya Danava said, I will let me give you gifts because you have protected me. I will give you gifts. But Arjuna was again saying, no, I'm Kshatriya. It's my duty. I don't take bribes. I don't need, money. I don't need all these kind of things or bribes from you. I'm simply doing my duty this is my sacred duty for the Supreme Lord. Om Tat Sat. It's for the pleasure of the Lord. I do this. But Maya Danava said, no, 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 I will give you. But then Krishna was again smiling. He was saying, but Arjuna said, okay, never mind. If you really want to give me something, why don't you do something to please Krishna? So that is a perfect devotee. So a devotee doesn't want anything for himself. He only wants everything for the pleasure of Krishna. So it's a very, very important lesson here also. We must understand when we do service, when we do any kind of activity in Krishna consciousness, even in everything, right? Our only goal is only one thing only, and that is to please the Supreme Lord. That is to please Krishna. It's not to please our senses. It's not to please other people's. It's not to impress other people. It's not to gain something. It's not for name, fame, glory, right? Even if somebody else is better at doing something, right? Because he is better than me and his service is better for Krishna, let me step back in my service so that he can do this for Krishna's pleasure. Let me do something else. Right? That is the best, that is the right move for the pure devotee, whose goal is only to serve the Supreme Lord. So Maya Danava immediately came to Krishna and said, how can I please you? And Krishna is the Supreme Person, right? That is, he has everything. Sahasra Lakshmi Satatam Sambrahmi Sahasra Lakshmi Satasambhrama Sevyamanam. So he is served by millions and millions of Lakshmis in Goloka Vrindavan. He doesn't need anything. So, but still, whatever his devotee gives it to him, he takes it and gives it back to his devotee. That's what Krishna does. That's how we get prasadam, isn't it? We offer bhoga to the Lord glances at it, and he gives it back to the devotees as prasadam. So in the same way, Mahadanava offered his services to Krishna, and Krishna said, "Okay, I don't need anything. But what you can do, you can. I know you're an expert architect. Now this Mahadanava was extremely expert architect. He was better even than Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma is the architect of the demigods, but this Mahadanava was even better. He is the architect of the demons. So he could really, create wondrous, amazing kind of architecture. So Krishna said, build the Pandavas a wonderful building, a wonderful assembly hall, which no one in the world, no one in this universe has seen, right? Something like this. So that, and do it for Yudhishthira's pleasure, for the pleasure of the king, Pandavas king, Yudhishthira. So that is again, and Arjuna was happy, right? Yes, let me do something for the pleasure of my king. And this is what pleases Krishna, and let it be so. Maya Danava said, okay, I will do that. So therefore we have this verse, in this verse, and only by his grace was the demon named Maya saved from the blazing Kandava forest. Arjuna is again remembering, it is by Krishna's grace that Maya Danava was saved. Although Maya Danava came to Arjuna and asked Arjuna for mercy, Arjuna could not have protected Maya Danava if Krishna didn't allow. Right? We have this famous saying, right? If Krishna wants to kill someone, no one can protect that person. Not even Lord Shiva. We have many examples like this. Later we will hear some more examples in this today's session. Right? But if Krishna wants to save someone, nobody can kill that person, right? Like Parikshit Maharaj. When Parikshit Maharaj when he was a baby, helpless in the womb, a Brahmastra was coming to him. No other weapon in the world can counter a Brahmastra. But Lord Krishna went and saved Parikshit from Brahmastra, right? Like Prahlad Maharaj. Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him in so many ways. Nothing could work, right? So same thing also, Sita also, when Ravana kidnapped Sita, Ravana couldn't touch Sita because there was a curse arranged. As soon as Ravana touches Sita, Ravana will die. So Sita was also protected. But at the same time, if Krishna wants to kill someone, like for example, there was one demon called Banasura. This Banasura had thousands of arms, and he was expert mridanga player, and he was a great worshipper of Lord Shiva, and he would do a lot of service for Lord Shiva. So his favorite service was he will play mridanga. Now playing mridanga you need 2 arms, but he has 1,000 arms. You can imagine what kind of mridanga playing you will get with 1,000 arms, 1,000 pair of arms. So and Lord Shiva used to enjoy his mridanga playing very nicely. So he will dance. So like this, he pleased Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva gave the blessing that I will protect you from any danger. So, but even that boon of Lord Shiva could not protect this Banasura when Krishna decided to kill him. So, and Banasura died. Krishna, in fact, Lord Shiva came to protect him personally. He called Durga, he called Kartikeya, Ganesh, all of them came and they all fought. But eventually they gave up. They gave up and they left. they couldn't protect. Of course, they did it. It's all part of the Leela pastimes. This is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, the liberation of Banasura, how Banasura was liberated by the grace of Krishna. So, in Hindi, there's a saying, I think, Krishna Mare Reke, Mare Rake, Krishna Mare Rake Ke, Krishna, I can't remember the exact saying, but the saying says, if Krishna wants to kill you, nothing can protect you. But if Krishna wants to save you, nothing can kill you. So therefore, and Arjuna is remembering this fact. He is remembering how it's by Krishna's grace that Maya Danava was saved from the blazing Kandava forest. And thus, by Krishna's grace again, we could build our assembly house of Adbhuta. Amazing. Adbhuta means wonderful. So we could build our assembly house of amazing architectural workmanship, where all the, so because of Maya Danava's boon, Krishna guided Maya Danava to give this special boon to Pandavas. So Maya Danava built this special assembly house. So amazing. The description is there in Mahabharata. That simply when they invited, when we have a new place, we invite people for housewarming or something like that. So they invited all the kings of the kingdom to attend this. There's a celebration they had in Indraprastha, cited by Yudhishthira Maharaj. And when they all entered this palace, they entered this assembly hall, they were all so stunned and amazed. And they felt like, my goodness, this Maharaj Yudhishthira and the Pandavas, they are amazing. So what happened was, because of this, later when Yudhishthira Maharaj wanted to have the Rajasuya Yagya, and in this Yagya, he needed all the kings of the world to accept Yudhishthira Maharaj as the emperor of the world. They have to accept, then only this Rajasuya Yagya can be organized. But because these kings had already visited this amazing assembly hall, they were so wowed by it that they didn't even think twice about disagreeing with Yudhishthira Maharaj. Because, Kshatriyas, none of them will just agree to become the follower of another king. They all have their big ego. But Krishna organized this in such a way, automatically all these a large number of these kings automatically accepted Pandavas as the emperor. So this was all useful later on when the Mahabharata war was happening. So Krishna already had all these plans ready, and he was like a spider in the background, pulling all the webs, arranging all the things for the Pandavas to happen. He was controlling the destiny of the Pandavas. So, and Arjuna is remembering that. Thus, we could build our assembly house of Adbhuta architectural workmanship, amazing workmanship, where all the princes assembled during the performance of Rajasuya Yagya and paid you tributes. They all came and paid Yudhishthira Maharaj tribute. So Arjuna is talking to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Your respectable younger brother, who possesses the strength of 10,000 elephants, talking about Bhima, killed by his grace Jarasandha, whose feet were worshipped by many kings. So here he's talking about Jarasandha. Jarasandha is the king of Magadha. Just hold on a minute, my phone is ringing. I might let it go. So,
Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, sorry, Prabhu, but your line is not very clear, Prabhu, from the beginning.
Really?
Yeah. It's breaking here and there.
Oh, okay. But my internet connection is good. I've got 4 bars.
I saw another Mataji also saying the same.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. From the beginning, the
check,
line is
Mataji?
breaking. Yes, yes. Mangala Rukmini here.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what to do. There is only 4. I mean, my computer shows 4 bars. So,
I think everyone is having that same feeling, I think.
Yes,
It's an echo sound, Prabhu. It's echo sound.
echo.
It's not echo actually.
Hmm.
Is there some like breaking voice? But we can make out what you are telling, but it is a little difficult to.
Yeah, I was training Prabhu to understand.
Oh, okay.
There's no
maybe-
echo for me, but the line is just like breaking here and there.
Okay. But your line is clear to me. I can hear all your voices very clearly. Let me see. What can I do? Okay, I will switch off. I will switch off the video and see if that helps. All right, stop video. Okay, anyway, let's just try. I've switched off the video now, so let's just try and see whether it works better now. Is it clearer now? Can you hear it better? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is it clearer now?
Clearer,
Sounds
Prabhu?
good. It sounds good.
Yes, Prabhu, clear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me just switch on my video and I'll see whether again it's clear. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
No, this one is not clear.
So it's the video.
Now not clear.
Okay, then I'll just switch off my video and then we will continue. Don't know what's the problem. Okay, right. So Srimad Bhagavatam continues. Arjuna is speaking to Yudhishthira Maharaj. He's saying, your respectable younger brother, who possesses the strength of 10,000 elephants, skilled by his grace, Rasanda, whose feet were worshipped by many kings. So he's talking about Bhima. Oh, there's this pastime. Once when Jarasandha is a great demon. Actually, there were two great demons. One is Kamsa and the other is Jarasandha. So Kamsa was already killed by Krishna, and Jarasandha was almost as powerful as Kamsa, but they became friends. And when Kamsa was killed, Jarasandha, actually more than friends, Jarasandha and Kamsa were relatives also. So Jarasandha, he became very upset that Kamsa was killed, and he always wanted to attack Krishna. So he always brought all his, and he was a very powerful king. His kingdom was called Magadha, and many other smaller kings were all his servants. What he would do, he would conquer all the different kingdoms and take over all their armies. So he had a very large army, and he brought this large army to attack Mathura when Krishna was there. But Krishna managed to defeat all of them, even though he was outnumbered. Mathura, but the Jarasandha's army was larger. But very easily, Krishna, with his Vrishni dynasty armies, they were able to defeat Jarasandha. He defeated, and Jarasandha didn't give up. But each time, but when Krishna defeated Jarasandha, he didn't want to kill Jarasandha because he had a plan for him for later on. So he spared his life, and Jarasandha became angry, and then second time he will come and attack. And again he was defeated. Third time he came and attacked. Again he was defeated. Fourth time he would attack. Again he was defeated. 5 times he would attack. Again he was defeated. Like that he went on. 10 times he would attack Mathura. Again he was defeated. So we can all learn determination from Jarasandha. And then 15 times he came and attacked Mathura. Still he was defeated. 16 times. 17th time, Krishna was thinking, okay, I'll just run away. So Krishna and Balaram decided on the 17th time to run away. And immediately Jarasandha said, aha, look at Krishna, he's a coward. See, he cannot fight me. See, he's running away. He forgot 17 times he was defeated. And then now finally Krishna is running away. Of course, Krishna, he did whatever Krishna does, there is a plan. There is a reason. So I won't go into that because that's another long story. So, but anyway, he had an excellent reason for running away, and Krishna became famous for running away. He became known as Rancho Rai. Ranchor means one who runs away from battle. So, if somebody runs away from battle, they are, people make fun of them. But Krishna became glorified as Rancho Rai. In fact, there are deities in India where they are called Rancho Rai, Krishna. So like that. So that's Krishna. He can do anything and he can still be worshipable. So anyway, this is the same Jarasandha. So Arjuna is remembering how Jarasandha was finally killed. But it wasn't killed by Krishna. It was killed by Bhima. But Bhima couldn't kill him without Krishna's blessing. How it happened was, actually the reason Krishna didn't kill Jarasandha was because he wanted Jarasandha's generals to remain alive later for Mahabharata war. He wanted to kill them one shot at that time because if a lot of Jarasandha's generals, they went to join some of the Pandavas and some of the others joined the Kauravas. So to make the Mahabharata even more glorious, he wanted more people to come at that time. So that's the reason he didn't kill Jarasandha at that time. But anyway, what happened was when Maharaj Yudhishthira wanted to do the Rajasuya Yagya, so as I mentioned earlier, Rajasuya Yagya, before we do the Yagya, it's important that all the kings in the world acknowledge Yudhishthira Maharaj as the emperor. So most of them acknowledged, except a few, and one of them was Jarasandha. He would never accept Yudhishthira Maharaj as the emperor. So rather than fight the entire kingdom, Krishna was suggesting to the Pandavas, why don't we dress up as Brahmanas? You feel like a drama? Come, let us all dress up as Brahmanas and we go to Jarasandha's palace and then we ask a boon from him. And in that boon, we ask to fight one-on-one. So why want to have a big war? So very expensive, so many people will die. So let us just have a one-on-one fight. So and they all dressed up as Brahmanas and they went. And they asked for boon. Of course, Jarasandha also, he thought, but he could recognize Krishna. And, Jarasandha, one thing about him, why he became so powerful, just like Hiranyakashipu. How was Hiranyakashipu so powerful? Hiranyakashipu. Because not Hiranyakashipu, Bali Maharaj. How Bali Maharaj became so powerful? Because he would always take care of the Brahmanas. He would always worship the Brahmanas, give food to the Brahmanas, do charity to the Brahmanas. Just like Karna. Karna would also give a lot of charity. So doing charity makes one powerful. But demons can also do charity. Devotees can also do charity. Karmis can also do charity. So the motive of the charity is important also. So Karna did charity because he wanted to glorify. He did it for his own ego. Same thing for Jarasandha. He didn't do it for ego. He did it to get power. So, and he became very powerful by the blessings of the Brahmanas. So that's why Krishna told Arjuna, the Pandavas, let's dress up as Brahmanas. When we go there, he will not attack, he will not do anything. He is forced to give us a boon. So like that, they went and begged the boon. But Jarasandha, he is not stupid also. He can see this cannot be Brahmanas. They all look so powerful. How can they be Brahmanas, right? So therefore, but he said, okay, never mind, but still you came here as Brahmanas. I will play your game. What do you want? Then Yudhishthira Maharaj was the leader, and he told Jarasandha, we want the boon of having a one-to-one combat with you. So you may choose one person amongst all of us to fight with you. Then Jarasandha started laughing, and he said, I'm not going to fight with you, Yudhishthira Maharaj. You are not as powerful as me. And I am not going to fight with anybody who is younger than me. So, Arjuna is younger than me. All the other Pandavas are younger than me. And so I'm not going to fight with them. And Krishna is there, but Krishna is a coward. He ran away from me. So I don't want to fight a person who ran away from me once. He forgot that he himself ran away from Krishna 17 times. But anyway, that's demons. So then he told Krishna, then he said, but I will fight with you, Bhima. Because Bhima, and Jarasandha had the strength of 10,000 elephants. And Bhima also had the strength of 10,000 elephants. So Jarasandha thought, let's have a wrestling match. You are powerful, I'm powerful. Let us see who's more powerful. So you will give me a good fight. So in that way, Bhima fought with Jarasandha, wrestling match. But Bhima couldn't defeat Jarasandha. It was a stalemate. It was going on for 28 days. And Bhima started to have apprehension. What is this? I'm not able to defeat this person. And finally, he looked at Krishna for guidance. So this is the Pandavas. Always they look at Krishna for guidance in everything. They don't act independently. Only one time they acted independently. That was during the dice game. They were challenged for dice, and at that time they went. But that was also done by Krishna's Yoga Maya. Krishna arranged for that to happen so that then Mahabharata will happen. So anyway, Krishna is the mastermind behind all these things, and he looked at Bhima, and what he did, he took a twig. He took a forked twig, a twig with a fork like this. I just show my finger with a fork like this. So with that fork, he held both sides of the fork of the twig, and he pulled it apart. So the twig split into two, right? So that's what he did. And then he looked at Jarasandha and he looked at Bhima. So Bhima could immediately understand. Bhima could understand what was the cause. Okay, he could understand that Krishna wanted Bhima to split Jarasandha by holding on to his two legs and tear him apart into two. So immediately they fought again, and Bhima this time knocked Jarasandha down. And before Jarasandha could get up, immediately he caught one part of the leg and he caught the other part of the leg, and he managed to split Jarasandha into two. And in this way, Jarasandha was killed. Right? So this was how Jarasandha was killed. So and Arjuna was remembering this, how Krishna was the reason behind Jarasandha being killed. Otherwise, it was not possible to kill this demon. So how could this happen? The story was this Jarasandha, before he was Jarasandha's father, he was the king of one country, of Magadha province, and he didn't have any children. So he had two queens. He married the princess of Kasi. Both also, Kasi was a great kingdom where they worship Lord Shiva. So the queens were there, but he couldn't have any sons, no children from the queen. So in despair, together with the queens, he decided to go to the forest to do some penance. So while in the forest, he met a rishi. Forgot the name of the rishi, but he met a rishi, and this rishi blessed him with a son. And he said, what I will do is I will give you a special fruit, a special mango, and this mango you feed it to your queen, and after that your queen will conceive a son. And immediately the king became so happy. So then he went, but he thought, I have two queens. Let me split the mango into two, and let me give both the queens half the mango. So one queen ate one half, the other queen ate the other half. And true enough, both queens became pregnant. But what happened was the queens gave birth to half a baby. So each queen gave birth to only half a baby. So this half a baby, of course, such a baby cannot be alive. So the baby seemed to be not alive. One half of a baby and another half of a baby. So in despair, the king thought, oh my goodness. And he took the two halves of the baby and he left it in the forest and he went back to his kingdom. So now this child, this baby, half the baby, there was a demoness, a female demon called Jara. So this is how she looks like. Female demon Jara. So this female demon Jara, she was in that forest. She was haunting that forest. And when she came to the forest, she saw two half of a baby, and she thought, very tasty. This is something which I can eat. But idle curiosity. Suddenly, she had some curiosity, and she thought, okay, two halves. Why two halves? Let me join the two halves. So when she joined the two halves of the baby, suddenly the baby became alive. The baby joined into one and became alive. And when the baby looked alive, when the baby looked at Jara, and when Jara looked at the baby, immediately there was a maternal bond. And this Jara felt like, I cannot eat this child. I became like, I'm almost like the mother of this child, because I'm the one who gave life to this child. So then she said, but I cannot keep this child. My life is very different. I'm demonic. I cannot be bringing up a child. So therefore she thought, let me go and give this child back to the king. So, and she went and presented it to the king. The king was aghast. Oh, a demon came to my kingdom. But she brought this child and said, please take this child and take care of him. This was the two half of the child that you left in the forest. I brought him back to life. And the king was very happy. Now he has a son. And then he said, please tell me, what can I do for you? Then this demoness Jara, she said, what you can, I don't need anything from you, but I would like this child to be named after me. So therefore, the child became known as Jarasandha, or one who was joined by Jara. So Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, being the Paramatma, he is in everybody's heart. So he knew about this story. He knew about Jara's previous, how he was joined together. So he knows his weakness. So all you have to do, Bhima, is just split him apart. So that's why he could tell Bhima. So Krishna knows everything. So and this Jarasandha was a very, very terrible king. What he did, he went to every kingdom and he captured all the kings, the royalty. He has a special kind of twisted idea. He will capture all the royalty, and he would bring the royalty and put them in prison. Now this king Jarasandha, he worshipped a terrible, fearsome form of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva has many forms. One of the names of Lord Shiva is Bhutanath. Bhutanath means Lord of the Ghost, Lord of the God, Lord of the ghostly creatures. So, and one of his names is Mahabhairava. So this is a deity of Mahabhairava. It's there in India. There are many places where they worship Mahabhairava deities, just like how Durga is sometimes worshipped as Kali. So sometimes Lord Shiva is worshipped as Bhairava. Very fearful form. And like how Kali, they sometimes used to do human sacrifice. So this Jarasandha, he will take all the royal people, the royal kings of all the kingdoms he has conquered, and he would sacrifice them to this Bhairava. And in this way, he will, this is what he used to do. So he was a terrible demonic king. So all the kings were worshipping this Jarasandha. So that's why it says here, Jarasandha, whose feet were worshipped by many kings. They were all very scared of Jarasandha, and they would worship Jarasandha so that he won't sacrifice them to this Mahabhairava. These kings had been brought for sacrifice in Jarasandha's Mahabhairava Yagya. They were thus released because finally Jarasandha was killed. Later, they paid tribute to Your Majesty. All these kings who were released, they came and paid tribute to Yudhishthira Maharaj in gratitude. And all this was simply by the grace of Lord Krishna. So Arjuna was remembering this pastime also. And then he continues further. Arjuna remembers another incident. It was he only who loosened the hair of all the wives of the miscreants who dared open the cluster of your queen's hair. He's referring to Draupadi. So what? Let's try to understand. So he's saying here, it's Krishna only who loosened the hair of all the wives of the miscreants, of all the bad people. Now, what happened was, then he explains what happened. Who dared to open the cluster of your queen's hair, Draupadi, which had been nicely dressed and sanctified for the great Rajasuya Yagya ceremony. Now, during the Rajasuya Yagya, one of the rituals was that Draupadi, the queen of the king, which was Draupadi, there was this very special ritual where the hair of the queen is anointed with special abhishek water, with special ointments and things like that, and it's tied, and once tied, you cannot loosen the hair after several days. They have to wait for several days before they can loosen the hair. So that was one of the rituals of the Rajasuya sacrifice in order for the Rajasuya sacrifice to be successful. But what happened was, right after the Rajasuya sacrifice, Duryodhana attended the sacrifice. He was so, he was so green with envy, seeing the opulence and the tribute and everything that is in Yudhishthira Maharaja's kingdom. He couldn't take it. So that was when he hatched the plan to cheat the Pandavas from their kingdom by having this dice game. It was a very cunning plan, right? He was very cunning in different ways. So anyway, we won't go into the details of that. The point was, the end of it, Draupadi was dragged into the assembly hall. She was having her monthly menses cycle during that time, and she was being, okay, my internet is unstable. Not a very good internet today. Okay, I hope it's able to hear. Anyway, this Draupadi was isolating herself during her monthly cycle, and at that time they dragged her into the assembly by the hair. Dushashan, right? Dushashan did this, and it was done by the order of Duryodhana, suggested by Karna, and everybody else kept silent when this was happening. So dragged into the sacrifice, so which had been nicely dressed and sanctified for the great Rajasuya sacrificial ceremony. Draupadi, having no other refuge, fell down at the feet of Lord Krishna with tears in her eyes. So Lord Krishna wasn't there at the time physically; he was in Dwaraka. So here, when it says that he fell down at the feet of Lord Krishna, so she meditated upon Lord Krishna in her mind and she surrendered to him. So she raised both her arms, and in her mind she was thinking of touching, Dandavat Pranam, right? Like doing obeisances to Lord Krishna, holding on to Lord Krishna's lotus feet. She was imagining like that, and she raised her arms into the air when she was being disrobed. And at that time, Krishna immediately came in the form, he incarnated himself as Sari. The Lord incarnated himself as Sari and came and protected Draupadi. So those people who caused this to happen, all those people who were in the assembly who kept silent, and all those people in the assembly who were part of Draupadi's humiliation, they also, because when Dushashan pulled Draupadi by the hair, the bun of Draupadi's hair was unraveled. It became loose. So it should not become loose because the Rajasuya Yagya was sanctified. She has to keep the hair whole. But Dushashan pulled her hair and loosened her hair. So now Arjuna is poetically saying, just like how your queen, now Draupadi is married to all of them. The five Pandavas were married to Draupadi, right? And it was Arjuna who actually won Draupadi in the Swayamvara ceremony. But we can see here how much regard Arjuna had for Yudhishthira Maharaj, that he addressed Yudhishthira Maharaj, he addressed Draupadi as your queen's heir. So this is how the Pandavas respected each other very much. They were never having an issue within themselves. And they all gave full cooperation and respect to Yudhishthira Maharaj as their elder brother. So we can see Arjuna's mood here. So Arjuna is saying, they dared to open the cluster of your queen's hair. Because they did this, their wives, their hair will become loosened. When in Vedic custom, when somebody loosens their hair, that means usually in Vedic custom, they keep their hair tight. This is Vedic culture. So when do they loosen their hair? They loosen their hair when there is a death in the family. So or when they are going through their monthly cycle, then they are allowed to do that. But generally, when there's a death in the family. So Arjuna is saying, because Draupadi's hair was loosened, now the wives of all these people who did this, their hair will be loosened. In other words, he was saying that they have become widows. Their husbands have been killed. And who are they? They all these Kauravas. They all have been killed in the Mahabharata war. So Arjuna is saying that to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So Prabhupada gives a purport here. Lord can tolerate insults upon himself by any miscreant, because the father tolerates even insults from the son, but he never tolerates insults upon his devotees. So this is what Krishna came to the world to in answer to the prayer of Bhuma Devi and Brahma and all the devatas, because they were all in anxiety because earth was overrun by demons. Thousands and millions of demons were overrunning earth. So and this is one of his mission. But in order to get an excuse to kill all these demons, he orchestrated the situation of this dice game in which Draupadi was disrobed, right? So when she was disrobed, what happened? They insulted Draupadi. So because they did this to Draupadi, although Krishna came to protect her immediately, Draupadi was never in any danger. She was always in the protection of Krishna, right? So Krishna used this as an excuse to annihilate the entire Kshatriya caste, because they were all demonic. They were all, behaving in a very terrible way. So to satisfy Bhuma Devi, he used this as the excuse. So and therefore she became the reason. Draupadi became the reason for the Mahabharata war to happen by the grace of Krishna. So when Draupadi was born by the yagya, there was a voice in the sky which said that this lady will be the cause of the great war, great dynastic war, like how you have never seen before. So, and it was all part of destiny. All has a reason, one reason behind another reason behind another reason. So Krishna is the master in orchestrating all these reasons. He's expert in arranging everything to achieve what he wanted. So the point here is, because they insulted, they insult Krishna also. Krishna doesn't have a reason to kill sometimes. There was Shishupal. Shishupal insulted Krishna 199 times. So Krishna gave a boon to Shishupal's mother. He said Shishupal was very envious of Krishna. So, and Shishupal would always find something, find fault, find some ways to insult Krishna. And Shishupal's mother was a devotee of Krishna, and she begged Krishna, my son is like this, he's so demonic. I know you are very powerful, I know you are very great. Please give him mercy. For 99 offenses, please forgive him, right? And Krishna granted this blessing. So Shishupal insulted Krishna during the Rajasuya sacrifice 99 times. On the 100th time only, Krishna killed Shishupal. So Krishna is very merciful. But when somebody is offensive to his pure devotee, Krishna cannot tolerate. The acharyas explain like this. Just like the lotus feet of the Lord is where the pure devotees of the Lord reside. The mercy of the Lord is at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And the lotus feet of Krishna is also described as where the devotees of the Lord rest. Now, when there is a hot, when something is very hot, right? Like when we are walking in the hot sun, our head can stand the hot sun. But when we are walking on the ground, the hot sun, the same hot sun which is shining on the ground becomes very hot. Our head can stand the heat of the sun, but our feet cannot stand the heat of the sun. So in the same way, the Lord can tolerate any insults upon his own self, like insults upon the head, for example, but he cannot tolerate the insults upon the feet, just like how the feet cannot tolerate the heat of the sun. So in this way, those who insult or offend the pure devotees of the Lord, they are actually creating the greatest aparat or offense which is existing. So this offense is called the mad elephant offense. Hati mata aparada. Hati means elephant, mata means mad, aparad, offense. This is the greatest of all offenses. Why is the greatest of all offenses? Because that is the amount of regard the Lord has for his pure devotees. Just like, a mother and a child. Sometimes the mother can tolerate insults to herself, but if somebody insults a child, she cannot tolerate. So the same way also, the Lord cannot tolerate insults to his pure devotees. And these people, they attacked, they were trying to humiliate Draupadi, and because of this, the entire Mahabharata war had happened, and millions of people died. Millions of demonic Kshatriyas died. All simply this as the reason. Of course, there are many other reasons, but this became the hinge, the point on which the Mahabharata war happened. So we should remember this. We should be very, very careful, right, to make sure that we are very watchful of Vaishnava aparat. Prabhupada continues, by insulting a great soul, one has to forego all the results of pious acts and benedictions also. So no matter how great one person is, he may have had wonderful qualities. He or she may have had wonderful qualities. They may have had all kinds of pious benedictions. They may be very great or powerful. Many, many blessings could have been there. But this one thing, if one does, it negates everything else. So by insulting a great soul, one has to forego all the results of pious acts and benedictions also. To the degree of that person's greatness, to that degree we lose everything. So we have to be careful on that. So then Arjuna continues. He starts remembering other pastimes. He says, during our exile, Durvasa Muni, who eats with his 10,000 disciples, intrigued with our enemies to put us into a dangerous trouble. So I mentioned this pastime in our previous session. I talked about Durvasa Muni also. So in short, basically Durvasa Muni travels with 10,000 disciples, and he is known as a very tempered Muni, easy to get angry, this particular Muni. So you have to be careful with him. So when he travels with his 10,000 disciples, when he goes to, imagine he brings his 10,000 disciples to your house, you have to treat him as a guest. What we have to give him? We have to give him food and everything. 10,000 disciples is no mean thing, not an easy joke. So he visited Hastinapura at the time when the Pandavas were already in exile, living in the forest. And when he visited Hastinapura, Duryodhana was there. And Duryodhana, of course, being a kingdom, being in a palace, easily he could not easily, but still he could at least manage to feed 10,000 disciples of Durvasa Muni to his satisfaction, and he was very careful with Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni was pleased. And after that, Duryodhana, he wasn't, very cunning in his mind. He was thinking, aha, now Durvasa Muni has come to me. Let me inflict Durvasa Muni on the Pandavas. If I send Durvasa Muni to the Pandavas living in the forest, I don't think they will be able to cook a feast for the 10,000 disciples of Durvasa Muni. And when that happens, Durvasa Muni will curse them, and any curse on the Pandavas is happiness for me. This was what this was what Duryodhana was thinking. So, and he was even more cunning. He said, I will send Durvasa Muni at a time when the Pandavas have finished eating. And you know, the Pandavas had a very special pot called Akshaya Patra. This Akshaya Patra was a gift from the sun god, where it provides unlimited food. But it provides unlimited food only as far as until Draupadi has eaten the food. The moment Draupadi has eaten from that plate, then the pot will not give any more food for that day. Then you have to wait for the next day. So that was how the pot worked. Akshaya Patra. The pot, the unlimited pot. But so and Yudhishthira, and Duryodhana knew he had spies. He had spies spying on the Pandavas, and he knew that normally Draupadi will finish eating at a certain time. So then he told Durvasa Muni, you go after this time, and at that time visit the Pandavas. So this is what happened. So it was a calamity. And when Yudhishthira Maharaj received Durvasa Muni, and he told Durvasa Muni, why don't you all go and take a bath first in the nearby lake while we prepare something for you? So they went to take a bath, and at that time they were thinking, oh my goodness, we are finished. He's going to curse us. What can we do? Draupadi has already eaten. We do not have the means to prepare food for this Durvasa Muni's 10,000 disciples. Then, but immediately all the Pandavas in their apprehension, they remembered only one thing, Krishna. All of them remembered Krishna, and immediately Krishna appeared on the spot. So Krishna appeared on the spot, and immediately he came to Draupadi and asked Draupadi, where is the pot? Bring me the pot. So, and Draupadi brought the pot, and he said, but the pot is empty. Oh Lord, I have already eaten. And the Lord said, really? You have eaten? Let me see. So then he was looking at the corner of the pot. He dug into one corner, and he managed to get 1 grain of rice. Or maybe not rice, something lah. Some grain of food left in the pot. And he took that and he said, aha, food. Thank you. He told the Pandavas, and he put it in his mouth and he ate it. And as soon as he ate it, there was a great sound coming from the lake. The sound was 10,000 disciples, including Durvasa Muni, all of them belching, burping from, belching. When we eat too much food, we become very full. Sometimes we belch. So what happened was all the entire disciples in Durvasa Muni, they were all extremely full suddenly. They couldn't even imagine eating one morsel of food. And he told Yudhishthira Maharaj, okay, now Krishna told Yudhishthira Maharaj, now you send Bhima, ask him to carry a club and go to the lake and invite the Durvasa Muni and his disciples to come for prasadam. So when Bhima went with his club, Durvasa Muni, he felt very embarrassed. I don't think we can go and eat. I'm so full. All the disciples are saying, I'm also full. And if we insult them by not eating their food, then we know where will we put our face. And Bhima is carrying a club some more. Okay, let's better all of us just leave. So they all suddenly just ran away. So in this way, they were saved by Krishna. So Arjuna continues, he remembers, he's thinking, at that time, Lord Krishna, simply by accepting the remnants of food saved us. By his accepting food, and thus Lokim Triptim. When Krishna accepts food, Lokim, heaven, earth, and hell, everywhere, the entire creation becomes Triptim. Triptim means satisfied. So that is the reason why we offer bhoga or food to the Lord. Not because the Lord wants it, right? By us serving the Lord, we satisfy the three universe, the entire creation, right? Everyone becomes satisfied. There is no need to serve the devatas separately. There is no need to do anything else for anybody else. Simply by serving the Supreme Lord, they become satisfied. Just like how one waters when one waters the plant, one waters the root. By watering the root, the entire plant, including the leaves, the branches, everything becomes nourished. Right? So Prabhupada says here, this incident proves that the Lord is the greatest mystic and therefore he is known as Yogeshwara. Simply by taking one morsel, because he is the soul of the universe, Lord, if he wants, he can satisfy the entire universe at once. Simply by eating one food, all the munis and their disciples became fully satisfied to the maximum. So he is the master of mystics, Yogeshwara. And another instruction is that every householder must offer food to the Lord, like how the Pandavas did. And the result will be that everyone, even a company of guests numbering 10,000, will be satisfied because of the Lord being satisfied. So this is true in all our temples around the world, right? We there is always, nobody can know for sure how many people are coming, right? Sometimes people will do all kinds of logistics. But in Prabhupada's time, Prabhupada simply cooked, and whatever he cooked was enough to satisfy all his disciples. Prabhupada personally used to cook when he was in Boston, in the USA, and he would personally buy the vegetables. He will cook and he will serve everybody, and everybody was all. And sometimes more guests will come, more people will come, but somehow, no matter how much food was there, even little, but it will always be satisfactory for everybody, simply because it was offered to the Lord. So in this way, Arjuna was remembering various pastimes. So then he's thinking of other pastimes. A few more pastimes are there, but then time is getting short. So this is the pastime of Lord Shiva, where Arjuna fought with Lord Shiva. Very interesting pastime. We will talk about this in the next session, together with some other pastimes. Right? We end here today. Right? So let us chant together. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you very much, everybody, for patiently hearing and attending the session also. Sorry for the lagging of the internet. I'm not sure what's the problem. I pay my bills, everything is there. So sometimes, these things can't help it. So anyway, if there are any questions from anyone, anything you want to clarify?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, in Srimad Bhagavatam 159, just now you said the fire god was to destroy demon Maya, Danaya, is it?
Not 15.9, I think it was earlier, 15.7, I think. Yeah, 15.7.
So, is it the same for us where Indraprastha was built, where Tachagan was fighting against Arjuna?
Yeah, that's the one.
Different for us.
It's nearby. Indraprastha is a big area. Khandava forest is one part of it.
Oh, but that Indraprastha forest was destroyed by Arjuna, requested Agni-deva to come and clean up the snakes, Tachagan. And then why this side, he helped the Maya. Maya is the one who stole all the cows for the yagna.
Sorry, I didn't get you. Maya is what?
Is that the same Maya stole the cows which was Yudhishthira kept for the sacrifice? I mean yagna. Maya the
No.
demon Maya Danaya.
Yudhishthira,
But
I don't know about this. I don't know about this. Someone stealing the cows from Yudhishthira Maharaj. I have not heard this before.
Oh, sorry. When Indra Prasad was built,
Uh-huh.
Yudhishthira wanted to have what? Yakuna, what's something like that.
Yeah, Rajasuya.
So it was bought 1,000 of cows. It was stolen by the Maya.
I don't know this, Prabhu. I have not heard this before.
Oh, sorry. Maybe the Mahabharata book I read was a different book, I think. Sorry, Prabhu. So
I know,
that's why
I know,
want to
I know, I
whether
know. Cows were stolen. Cows were stolen, but this was stolen by Duryodhana and his and Duryodhana, because this happened in the 14th year of the exile, and the Pandavas were all hiding in the Virata in the Matsya kingdom, in the city of Virata, incognito. They were all in disguise. So to flush them out, they somehow found out that the Pandavas may be in that kingdom. So the Duryodhana was thinking to flush out the Pandavas to reveal them, because if he can catch them and reveal that they are Pandavas before the finish of the 14 years, then they will have to go back to the forest for another 14 years. That was the agreement. So at that time, what they did was they went and stole the cows from the Virata kingdom's cow shed. That was what they did. So Maya, I don't remember anything like that. Maya was basically, he was very grateful after he was saved, and he built the assembly house for the Pandavas, and he also gave them a few other things. He gave Arjuna the conch, Devadatta. In Bhagavad Gita, we hear how the different conches were blown. So the conch of Arjuna is called Devadatta, and it was also given as a gift by Maya Danava demon, because Krishna wanted to. and the club of Krishna, he also gave a gift to Krishna. The club of Krishna, the Kaumodaki Gada, that was also a gift by Maya Danava to Krishna. So like that, he gave some gifts, and he was a well-wisher. After that, he repented and he became a well-wisher.
Yeah, the club also give to Bhima also, is it?
Yes, he also gave a club to Bhima. Yes, correct.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you very much. Actually, the Raja Surya, Indra Prasad Raja Surya, they're preparing cows to give for the Brahmanas. So Drojana who planned, and you call Dakshan. Dakshan got the Maya, able to steal the cows. This is what I read. Now I recheck again, Prabhu.
Okay. I don't remember reading that. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Anything else from anyone? So we just had Krishna Janmashtami. So there are many, many pastimes. So in Canto 1 itself, we hear many, many pastimes of Lord Krishna. And we see how the devotees are always remembering these pastimes and deriving great satisfaction. Arjuna, we will hear from this chapter later on in next coming sessions. We will hear how Arjuna, in the beginning, he was so dejected. Luster was gone, Tejas was gone, he was crying. But as he starts remembering, as he starts speaking about Krishna, as he starts remembering, at the end, he got back his mood. He became enthused again. So the solution for all problems of life is Krishna Katha, Harinam Ruchi, hearing the holy names of the Lord and hearing the pastimes of the Lord. And simply by constantly hearing this, no matter what kind of problems we have in our lives, this is the solution. So every day, that's why Srimad Bhagavatam in the first few chapters, it says that this is the light for Kali Yuga. It's like the sun which arises in the deep darkness of Kali Yuga. We will get all benefits from this Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's wonderful if we can spend some time to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, ideally, if possible, every day. Well, at least we can read one or two things. Or it's really very, very amazing what it can do for our consciousness, So, problems will always come. It's like, in the sea, rivers will always flow to the sea. You cannot stop river water from flowing to the sea. But the sea always remains stable. Not just because some river water is flowing into the sea doesn't become agitated. Yeah, it remains the same level, right? So those who are pure devotees of the Lord, those who constantly make a habit of hearing and chanting the names of the Lord, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, even though problems come, problems go, problems assail them, they do not get disturbed. Now that is the secret. That is the amazing thing. The devotees do not get disturbed. The Pandavas, they go through so many tribulations, right? They do not get disturbed in their mind. Although they show it's like they are disturbed, but this is drama, this is Leela, right? But actually they don't. They are actually in ecstasy. And that's why if that's the reason Kunti Maharani could pray, let these calamities come again and again, because that means we are always with you. So that is the ecstasy of the pure devotees of the Lord. They do not actually get disturbed in their hearts. So that's what we want to do, right? We can also attain the same thing simply by constant hearing and chanting. And in this way, remembrance will come in any situation. It's like Prahlad Maharaj. In any situation, he remembered the Lord and nothing happened to him. Hare Krishna, with that we will end today. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions as usual, you can always send it to me. There were some questions sent to me. I didn't have time to reply yet. I'll send it again this week. Next few days, I will reply in the WhatsApp. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Dandavana pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.